This is a short little video about natural monopolies and why natural monopolies fit in the category of market failure. Now, market failure is basically the idea that markets sometimes don't work in getting to the optimal efficient production and allocation of goods. And in these types of situations, there's actually a need for the government to get involved so that goods can be both efficiently produced and efficiently allocated. So natural monopolies typically exist in situations where the market structure means that there's only one company that will be supplying a good to a market. This is often seen in the case of water companies or natural gas companies or electrical companies, like in this case, where one company is supplying an area, right? It lays down the pipes or the wires to supply an area with meeting its need in water, natural gas, or electricity. And to bring in a second company would actually be very wasteful of resources. You'd have to lay down a second set of pipes or a second set of wires. And in that case, the process of creating competition is wasteful, so it's far better for the government to come in and just regulate the existing natural monopoly and the price that it sells at, rather than trying to create competition. So let's take a look at this with the case of Sparky's, right? We have a supply curve here for Sparky's Electrical, and we have the demand curve for people in Sunshine Valley where Sparky's is selling its electricity. And we can figure out in this situation what is the optimal price, right? Simple way we've always done, right? Quantity demand equals quantity supply. And in this case, it's the quantity supplied by Sparky's Electrical. So our quantity demand, right, what the people of Sunshine Valley want is 30 minus 0.5p. That's the equation, right, for our demand curve. And our supply curve is 20p minus 175, right? So in this case, we'll just set it equal and solve from here. So we will have 20.5p equals 205, which is going to give us a price of 10. And at a price of 10, right, the quantity demanded, right, 10 times 0.5 is 5, 30 minus 5 is 25. Quantity supplied by Sparky's Electrical, right? They are fully capable of doing this. It is 20 times 10, which is 200, minus 175 is 25 as well. So in this current situation, right, the equilibrium price would be 10 and the quantity would be 25. Now, as it is, because Sparky's is a monopoly, they're actually charging people $12. And because they're charging people $12, well, the result is going to be that people are paying more for their electricity and they're not able to get as much electricity as they want to at that price, right? Sparky's has monopoly power. There's no one to compete the price down to the 10 for them. So this is where the problem of a natural monopoly comes from. Now, in this situation, the best way typically to deal with a monopoly is to bring in competition. So the people of Sunshine Valley go and look for a competing firm, and they find one in the case of Voltage Electric. Voltage Electric comes in and they said, yeah, we'll supply electricity to Sunshine Valley. We'll lay down all the transmission wires and everything we need to do. And it's going to be kind of expensive, but we can do it for you. And so Voltage Electric, right, the supply for Voltage Electric, right, it's going to be 50p minus 500. So this is what it's going to be for them to supply electricity into Sunshine Valley. So will this help the situation at all? Well, now we have two competing companies, and we can put both of their supply curves together into, right, a market supply curve, right? And in this case, right, we simply add it up, 70p minus 675. We take our market supply curve and we set it equal to our demand curve for Sunshine Valley, 30 minus 0.5p. And from here we just plug and chug the way we normally do, right? And so we bring this over, so this would be 70.5p equals 705, and this should give us a price of 10. So this will get us to our equilibrium price that we had before, right? And if we have a price of 10, right, what's our quantity going to be? Well, we know that a price of 10, quantity demand, is going to be 25. And at a price of 10, this will be 70 times 10, which is 700, minus 675, which is going to give us a quantity of 25. Now, here's the thing. We've brought in a second company that's laid down redundant wires and all of that. And at the end of the day, where do we end up? Well, we end up back at the same price we would have had with just Sparky's, had they not used their monopoly power, and the same quantity, right, that Sparky's would have supplied had they not used their market power. The basic result is, if we're going to end up in the same place, why should we bring in the second company? That's a lot of extra resources being dumped in to solve a problem that could actually be much easier to solve if we just had the government come in and tell the Sparkies, this is the price you have to sell electricity at in Sunshine Valley. They will dictate the price and the rest will take care of itself. So basically, natural monopolies exist. They require government intervention to keep them from taking advantage of their monopoly situation, because the alternative way of dealing with monopoly, bringing additional competition, doesn't really exist. It would be very wasteful and it's not going to bring about any better result for the consumer.